This program is sponsored in part by the National Catholic Society of Foresters. Hello again, and welcome to Looking at Social Justice. It's my privilege every week to bring you something very exciting about social justice in the Valley, and usually with some very interesting guests. Well, today we have a guest who hasn't been on this program but had been on others. It's Dr. Veena Howard, who is the coordinator at the University of Peace and Conflict Studies at California State University, Fresno, and an associate professor in the philosophy department. Veena Howard has been working on her Gandhi projects over many years, and I wonder if Veena could introduce why it is that you are so committed to Mahatma Gandhi, and then lead us a little bit into how this Gandhi's Global Legacy International Conference fits in with your own passion for the lessons of Mohandas Gandhi.
Thank you, Jim Grant, for having me on this show. So first, today is October 2nd. Happy birthday to Mahatma Gandhi, Mohandas K. Gandhi, Karamchand Gandhi, and it is his 150th birth anniversary. Can you believe we are recording at the same day?
On the same day.
So this is pretty cool, I think. Personally, I'm a Gandhi scholar. I was born and raised in India. So I grew up seeing Gandhi all around me. Gandhi is on our currency. If you want to have rupee, Gandhi's on that. Postage stamps, Gandhi's on that. Most of the street squares, Gandhi's on that. You see Gandhi almost everywhere. And October 2nd, in schools, we, as children, we went up to Gandhi's photo or statue and we'll put flowers on.
Wow.
And then we'll get sweets. That thing was our really temptation to go to these Gandhi celebrations, to get every kid, even if they have 1,000 kids in school, we all got this handful of this very special kind of sweet. And that's what Gandhi meant to me as a child and as growing up. Gandhi as the father of the nation who helped India get freedom, only to that extent. But then I come to the United States and I got exposed to Gandhi in a very different way. I mean, here we have Martin Luther King Jr., we have Cesar Chavez, and his legacy in Americas, which I didn't know in India about that, because I was not a Gandhi scholar. I was a student of English and philosophy. So when I came to the States and I was going on grad studies, then my field changed from Indian philosophy to, of course, stayed in Indian philosophy, but more Gandhi's philosophy. So I did my Ph.D. In Gandhi's philosophy, especially as, with your commitment to social justice, how Gandhi's personal ascetic practices, the practices of simplicity, of not indulging to senses, celibacy, how they were helpful to his social justice work, how his social activism work. So far, the scholars have studied Gandhi. They don't talk about as much. They look at with suspicion. Why was he celibate when he was married? Why would he do fasting? Why would he live such a life of poverty when he's not a monk? But then he was recognized as, interestingly, many Christians as one of the saints, or the saint-like or Christ-like figure. So his first biography comes in around 1909. Can you believe that he was only 40-year-old, that you have a biography? I'm still waiting for mine. So I think it's very interesting how you can have such a young person have a biography about you. But that's a Christian way of looking at Gandhi as carrying the cross. Yeah. And so that's all comes into my study. And I began to study, and then I did my PhD, and then I wrote a book. It's called Gandhi's Ascetic Activism, Renunciation and Social Action. So how the personal spiritual practices are helpful and were the springboard for him for his social activism. You know, many people don't know about that, not in a way that I explain in my book. So, but I am also, you know, religious studies scholar, philosophy scholar, so I teach courses in Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism. But of course, Gandhi is my field of, is my specialty. So I had just finished a Oxford bibliography on Gandhi, so which is a major scholarly accomplishment because that bibliography becomes a resource for whoever wants to study Gandhi.
Oh, my.
Yeah, so I just finished, came maybe a couple of months ago, that's been published, and it's online. One can, you know, you have to be a member or subscribing to the Oxford bibliography. And then when I came to Fresno State, coming to the, you know, Gandhi's Global Legacy Conference, and when I joined Fresno State, I literally ran into Gandhi's statue because in the Peace Garden, I was coming for an interview, going through this quad and to the Starbucks in the library to meet a colleague, and I looked up and here's Gandhi's big bust, and I see it. I said, my goodness, is that a sign to join Fresno State? Because I had a couple of other options to take jobs elsewhere. So, and it all works out, and I joined Fresno State, and then I also then become the coordinator of Peace and Conflict Studies because my really commitment to peace and justice and social activism. And so then when Gandhi's 150th birthday is coming upon us, a couple of years ago, I went to my dean, then now is provost, Saul Jimenez Sandoval, yes, wow. And brought the proposal, brought to our provost then, Lynette Zelezny, and they all really liked it, and I said, this is going to be an academic conference. So there are celebrations, like today we have a celebration at Fresno State in the evening around 6 o'clock, today October 2nd. But then on October 10th and 11th, we are doing a 2-day academic conference.
I've seen the brochure and the poster, the wonderful information that there is for us to participate in October 10th and 11th. I wonder if you want to tell us a little bit about the speakers who will be there. You have assembled a group of phenomenal international scholars. Introduced us to some of these great people that are going to be here for us on the 10th and 11th of October.
So thank you. And I want to talk about the poster first. When you see the poster, you see Gandhi, almost bare feet, with a stick. And then you see with a gun, really it's a law enforcement or saying the military power. So this poster was created by a student at Fresno State. His name is Albert Harrow, and I did a Gandhi's Legacy competition, student competition, art and essay competition, poetry, and this poster won the first prize, and we are using everywhere in our promotion. So if you see that, the contrast of his, that he's looking straight at the, you know, the person against him, and with fearlessness and simplicity in the white clothes. And so it really is showing that the power of truth, nonviolence against the, you know, all kinds of militarism and the violence, all kinds, that's representative of it. Not saying that, oh, law enforcement people are not right. So this has to be read in the context. It's only read as just a symbolic of the power of guns and the power of nonviolence and truth. That's all it really implies.
Where people could find this marvelous poster and all the promotion that you have created, Veena, why don't we talk just for a second about the link where all of this can be found, because you've assembled not only that poster, but all the speakers with their biographies and the schedule of the event. So why don't we talk about that link? Let's see where it is.
So it is bit.ly/. FS Gandhi Conference. And you can go to that link. You will have all the conference, 2-day schedule, the rooms where there are several venues where the conference is held. And if anybody has any question, they can email me, vehoward@csufresno.edu. You can always go to the Fresno State University's philosophy website. You can find me, Veena Howard, and the promotional materials all over being circulated. But this website, bit.ly/FS Gandhi Conference, so that everything is available there.
And there is such a wealth of what you've assembled there. It's just beautiful to see, as you explained, even the color and the stark images of the contrast between what Mahatma Gandhi represents and what militarism and so much that still goes on in our violent world. So thank you for that student that you were able to celebrate by letting his work become your poster.
Yes. So we have a choice. We could have used any Gandhi's photo, like everybody else is doing. But I really want to. This is conferences for not just for, even though we have scholars, activists, academics, but it's end of the day, I really want it available to our students and community members. So it is free, open to public. And if anybody wants a code for parking even, contact me and we can do that. So there is a variety, the great medley of scholars that are available and the activists. So I want to talk about for a minute Reverend James Lawson Jr., who is known as the architect of the nonviolent movement in America. And he's known as also a tactician and pioneer of nonviolent methods in the civil rights movements. He worked with Dr. King, and Dr. King, as a matter of fact, called him and said, you need to join the fight soon. And he's the one who helped desegregate the downtown Nashville. And he held workshops in the basement of a church where students from all different colleges in the surrounding areas came. And he worked with them how to resist nonviolently, because it requires a lot of soul force. It requires a lot of inner strength not to hit back. And he did a lot of role playing. If the students play to go, if you are police or the law enforcement and I am, and then they switched. How do you, if somebody swears at you, somebody use N-word, what do you do? So this was, there's a film called A Force More Powerful documentary. In it is just the most amazing illustration of his methods. And he is going to be 91, only has become 91, and very vibrant, amazingly continue to be dedicated to nonviolence and justice issues. So he will be speaking on Thursday, October 10th at 6 p.m. in the Satellite Student Union.
I remember vividly when you treated the diocese to Reverend Lawson on his last visit, that you brought him to the university, and then to know that he will be here again and I will have the joy of seeing him again.
Yes.
He not only did a wonderful program as you're doing now,
yes,
but then he spoke, and I went back to the university that evening. It is amazing that you are able to bring to the university Reverend Lawson. But there's other speakers.
Yes.
Equally also
amazingly.
Amazing. Whom else do you want to introduce us to?
So this, I think, like you said, we have amazing lineup of speakers. Dolores Huerta, who has dedicated herself to the really needs of the Latino, the Hispanics, and United Farm Workers movement. And she is the founder of the Dolores Huerta Foundation and co-founder of United Farm Workers of America. She's, I think, in mid to late 80s, and she was arrested not long ago for fighting for the rights of workers.
We had Dolores in that seat
Oh, you
the
did?
day after being arrested.
Oh, wow.
And she is still so engaging and so powerful. And then to see her on your menu, I'm saying, oh my, you landed Dolores also, to be able to show the influence of Gandhi on this Latino community of the Central Valley and across the world. So thank you for Dolores.
Yes, and I'm so grateful that she's able to come, because as you know, these people are very, very busy and their time is very precious. And the sweet thing is that Dolores and Reverend Lawson are friends, they know each other. And it'd be beautiful when Dolores Huerta speaks, Reverend Lawson is going to offer reflections.
Oh my.
And so it's like, meeting of the minds, meeting of their dedication and commitment to their, even though they're getting, up in the age, they are so vibrant, they're so dedicated, they're so exemplary, they're so, inspiration.
Wow.
There's just, you talk about them and your heart really becomes filled with love. Really, when you meet Reverend Lawson, he exudes love. Same thing with Dolores Huerta, because they use the methods of nonviolence and they fought for justices and against injustices, and they continue to fight.
But it's not just those two. You have, with those 2 days, chances for several other moments where in different arenas, in different settings, you have others that you brought in from across the globe. Whom else do you want to introduce us to?
So our Dr. Mary Elizabeth King, who has been working with Reverend Lawson over 50 years.
Oh my God.
And she teaches also at Oxford, and she is just a brilliant. She has 5 books on Gandhi and Gandhi's legacy. And she's going to offer reflections to Reverend Lawson's talk. So it's like a student and teacher meet together. And so I'm very excited about that. And then another speaker, very amazing speaker, Ramsey Jay Jr. He will speak on October 10th at 3 p.m. He is one of our own alumni, and he is a very powerful business, in the business and investment area. And he's a motivational speaker, and he inspires these young people. So we are so happy that he is coming. So we have such a across age, across gender, ethnicity, race. We have a really nice combination of speakers. So these are the 4 keynote speakers. Then we have number of scholars who are coming. So we have scholars that are coming from Detroit, from Hawaii, from Georgia, different North Carolina, Duke University, and these scholars are going to talk about not simply Gandhi as apostle of peace, but Gandhi as man. What we can learn from his methods, how, after 150 years of his birth, the world has changed. But at the same time, the world has not changed, right? We have issues that Gandhi faced. We thought racism, sexism, colonialism. We have the different ways now. The issue of these issues are raising their heads in a very, very insidious, very strange way. So the work is Gandhi's work, Cesar Chavez's work, Dr. King's work continues. It's not and needs to be continued. However, in our times, we need to look at these thinkers' writings and ideas and philosophies in a new way. Because we can't have what Gandhi said at that time when women didn't even have freedom to vote. Now, today's world, the gender issues take a different kind of tone. And so we need to raise question, right? Justice question, equality question, economic equality. And then above all, we have right now, one of the biggest crisis is environmental crisis. And where our own Pope Francis, how he's making people aware. I know I gave a talk on Laudato Si.
At the World Parliament?
At the World Parliament. And I looked at Gandhi and the Pope's message as well. Someday I will do podcast on that. I know.
Definitely, definitely.
So I think it is what Gandhi was talking about, this life of simplicity, going local, using local products, and transforming yourself, finding a spiritual self and being satisfaction in that, community building, upliftment of all, using nonviolence instead of violence, creating dialogue instead of all these constant altercation we have in our world, politics and social. So all those ideas, I think, has meaning in a very different way in today's world. So these scholars, for 2 days, they're going to think about, they are going to talk about. It's open to students, the conference, open to community members, no fee. All of this is, then you say, how do you pay for it, right?
Yeah, I'm intrigued at how you were able to assemble this this entourage of speakers and then to fund all that's going to happen. Who are some of these supports and promoters along with you?
Yes, it was very interesting. What Gandhi lived in poverty, but he always kept his rich, affluent friends around him because he knew that good works require resources, right? So our university helped me all throughout my way. So I really am grateful to then our dean, now our provost, Dr. Jimenez Sandoval. I am so grateful to now our interim dean, Dr. Nora Chapman, our president, Dr. Castro. They all are.
Wow.
I say it is a whole community takes to put this kind of conference.
Oh, yeah.
And then we have 2 major donors. One is called, their foundation name is JP and Renu Sethi Foundation. They lived in Valley and they're philanthropic. And Mr. JP told me that as a child, he was very influenced by Gandhi and his methods. And when he now is a business person and has means, and he's giving back to the community.
Wow.
And I'm so grateful for him to really supporting Gandhi in not only just conference, even our competition, supporting those initiatives. And he's very generous, and he's going to be there at the conference.
Wow.
And the second entity that has helped me is known as the Uberai Foundation for Religious Studies. And they're based in Denver, and this foundation gives out each year grants to scholars for certain projects. And I applied for this grant.
Oh my God.
And I didn't know how it's going to work out since it is Gandhi's 150th. And it's not only just talking about Gandhi, it's about the relevant issues for today's world. So then I received grant from them. So with that, and I have community partners, and I have our university, the library, and President Commission for Human Relations Equity, Ethics Center, where Dr. Fiala is a director.
Nice.
So we have, and the community members. So it just grew, and it's very interesting. Some people just invited themselves. They go, we'd like to come to then it's a good sign that something is happening
Who
here.
would that be? Who
so even
saw how great this was and said, put me in?
So Ramsey Jay
play.
Jr. and I asked him before, and he called me. He goes, I met him at the honors award, which he and I both received, Honor Society induction into as a scholar, and he was as one of our alumni. And he said, oh, you talked about conference, I would love to be part of it. And I said, sure. And then we have a classical music concert in the evening. So it's really is then, and it's called Melodies of Peace. And Gandhi was very fond of singing bhajans, the spiritual songs, devotional songs, like hymnals, as it were. And so these artists are coming from India, and they are the best, one of the really well-known musicians. and they will be playing, there will be a concert on Friday at 7:30 p.m. in the Wahlberg Hall. And that's also open and free to public. And that's not, doesn't happen very often. So it's a mixture of things, and and then we'll also have a piece at the Peace Garden, a very 30-minute prayer / celebration, because I want our scholars to go to the Peace Garden. Wow. And this is led by students. So I wanted our students to be in the front lines to do this. So I always involve students, and they're going to be leading that. That's on October 10th at 5 p.m. in the Peace Garden, and whoever wants to come. And right after that, we go to Reverend Lawson's talk, and then we go next morning, start at bright and early at 8:55.
It is mind-boggling what you've been able. How long have you been in the planning of all of this that we're going to celebrate on the 10th and 11th of October? How far back did you need to start thinking and nurturing this child?
So the first, I was around 2 years ago,
Wow.
I thought about as a symposium. Wow. So we'll have a symposium, one-day symposium, just a morning, afternoon, and sessions, and we'll invite 6 scholars, and maybe one keynote that evening, we're done. Wow. And it just grew into this pages upon pages of a program, which is again on the website that we just gave the name, and it gives all the information, the times, the dates, the and anybody needs information about parking, they can let me know. Again, the website is bit.ly/FS Gandhi Conference, that's the website. And then my email is vehoward@csufresno.edu. And again, my name, Veena Howard. You can find me at the Department of Philosophy, Fresno State website.
Veena, I can't thank you enough for sharing your excitement and your passion, your scholarship, and your expertise in pulling together what is going to be a marvelous event at Fresno State University, October 10th and 11th. I just want to add that even on the 14th, as a bonus,
yes.
the granddaughter
Yes.
of Mahatma Gandhi will also be giving a presentation in the evening.
Absolutely.
And that this year's Interfaith Scholar Weekend, February 21 to 23 in 2020, will have Rajmohan Gandhi, the grandson of Mahatma Gandhi. We can't celebrate Mahatma Gandhi enough. Thank you so much, Veena.
Yeah, please join us.
Thank you
So much.